I'll, so let's omit. Ay, where's that? For a while. Stop sharing. Window. Share. Okay, so we'll discuss today local public finance. So what do you mean by local public finance? Simply means that it is the budget of the different local government units. So there are four local government units. If you recall your topic in the local government units, local government administration. So there we have the province, city, municipality, and the barangay, including as well the different autonomous region, the Cordillera Administrative Region and the autonomous region of the Muslim Mindanao. But in general, there are only four. We have province, city, municipality, and the barangay. In the city, we have kinds, the autonomous city or independent city, and then the component city. So what do you mean by local public finance? It refers to the conduct and management of the financial affairs, transactions, and operations of the province, cities, municipalities, and barangays. It referred to the local, it simply means the local fiscal administration. It's about the budget that they receive and the payment to the corresponding personnel. So it's basically three things. First is the generation of the resources and revenues, okay, primarily through taxes and transfer of grants from the national government. So these are the sources of the revenue from the local government units. What is that? We have the taxes that they receive and the transfer of grants from the national through IRA. The second is the allocation and the utilization of such revenues and resources. So, and the third is the management and control of the revenue generation and resources. So, the money that they get is the first. The second is how to utilize the money. And the third is to manage and control the revenue generation. Now, it's very important that they should not use the money for private purpose. It is not allowed, and the spending of money should always based on the law, okay, and the law is the ordinance that the local government units. So in the province we have the provincial board, in the city we have the city council, in the municipality we have the municipal council, and in the barangay we have the barangay council. The law that they crafted, known as the ordinance, is the one that authorizes the chief executive, okay, because the chief executive is not present during the hearing of the budget hearing, or he is not around when they propose budget, okay, or for projects that will use money. So the chief executive is just the one, he is the one who will execute the law which the legislator made, okay, which is the utilization of the money. So without authorization, then it will, the chief executive will be personally liable. It is not the government that will be liable, okay, if the contract entered into by the local city executive has no authority from the board or from the council. So there are many cases where, although at first it is okay that the mayor or the any chief executive, the governor, the city mayor, or the municipal mayor, or even the punong barangay may enter into a contract even without authorization from the council or provincial board. It would be okay if there's nobody will question the authority of the governor to enter into contract. What if the mayor, the governor will lose in the election, and somebody will question it? Somebody will question the contract entered into without authority. Take note, if the contract entered into without authority from the board or council, then the person who signs it will be held personal liable. It is not the government. Okay, and the contract entered into will become unenforceable. Okay, so it will be your loss. So if you are the chief executive, making sure that there is an authority from the council. Okay, do not just spend the money without authority. So you look at the authority. What is the authority given to you by the council or board? Okay, otherwise you will be held personally liable. So I will not mention cases that are, of course, you know what are those, and some, in fact, are very famous cases where, although at first it's entered by chief executive, it's okay, but when he lost the election, the next chief executive did not honor it. Okay, basically, if there is no authority from the legislative council or board, then it is as if the contract is unenforceable, and the person or the chief executive who entered into a contract with authority will be held personally liable, and not the government. So take note of that. Okay. So similar to what I have said. So in any authorization or power given by the council, that's the only thing that you can do. You cannot do any other thing. Okay. So why is it so? Because in our country, which is democratic, it is always governed by the majority, and the majority are found in the council. That's why it's very important that there must be a quorum in the meeting they have, and there must be a voting, okay, on the proposed agenda. Without that, without following the parliamentary procedure, well, they may be questioned, okay? Because, you know, a country which is democratic, it is always ruled by a majority. They will govern. Absence of that proof that there is indeed a approval of the majority, then the acts may be questioned. And whoever enters into a contract with authority will be held personally liable. So you should be very careful. Now we go to the question. Who is the key official who handles public money? It is the local chief executive. Who are the local chief executive? We have the provincial board, I already mentioned, the city, mayor, if it's a city, or municipal mayor, if it's a municipality, and the barangay captain or punong barangay. Okay? There's no such thing as barangay captain, but in the local government, old local government code, we have barangay captain. Now, the local government code is called the punong barangay. It's a unique word that is not adopted by any other country. It's only in our country that we have punong barangay. A responsible for the collection, custody, disbursement, and proper utilization of the government funds. Okay, provides overall direction and control. The chief development and budget planner are responsible for issuing licenses and permits. So that is the power of the local chief executive. It's very powerful. Okay, in fact, the mayor, there are now Congress, some of them are congressmen, but after the term, they go back to the to run as a mayor. Why? Because of the power, okay, that is granted to the mayor, like issuance of a permit of the businessman. If you have relatives, or if you have business, that will not be granted unless you belong to the same party with the mayor. Okay, that's why I'm planning really to write an article that this will be dismantled, because there is inequality of power. The mayor is very powerful. The punong barangay is not useful. Okay, he has no use. He cannot even share the even granting of a permit, which the mayor may be maybe the source of its wealth. Why? Because businessmen sometimes support them during election. Okay, because without the mayor, without the businessman, the mayor will not win an election. Okay, so businessmen sometimes support the mayor in any election for a return of favor later on when they win. That is the dark side of our political system. Okay, so politicians always support the mayor. I was planning then that probably we can give power to punong barangay. After all, we all know who are those punong barangay. We know the character of this punong barangay or barangay captain. Whereas the mayor, we don't know them because they are not our neighbors. We don't even know where they live. Okay, we just know them during election and in every event in the barangay where they become the star. Okay, like they give money where in fact that money comes from the people. That is their style of patronizing or making a propaganda for them to win again in the election, like having faces wherever you go. Okay, that's how we can recall. Okay, now we have the local sanggunian. Okay, what are these local sanggunian? We have sangguniang panlalawigan if it is a province, sangguniang panglungsod or city council if it is a city or a lungsod, sangguniang bayan if it is a municipality, and we have the sangguniang barangay if it's a barangay level. Okay, what are their jobs? They approve annual budget, okay, and supplemental budget of the LGU. What do you mean by annual budget? The entire budget for the year, starting from January 1 up to December 31. Okay, so December 31 of 2020 is the end of the fiscal year. So the budget now in 2020 already prepared, is already even approved by the president. Okay, so the budget that is approved will be up to 21, so December 31, 2021. So that is their job. Okay, they prepare the budget. The local sangguniang prepares the budget and as well as the supplemental budget. What do you mean by supplemental budget? They can actually realign, okay, the budget to support a certain project that is lacking of fund. Okay, approves local government development and investment plans, like they want to invest in certain items, certain things that is not, of course, illegal or within their powers, because local city executive has a limitation. They can only do things which are within their powers, and the power you is found in the local government code. Okay, outside of that, it's beyond their power. Okay, so it doesn't mean that if you are the mayor, you can do all the business. No, you have to look at the powers granted by you by the local government code, which serves the guidelines and preparation of the annual budget, is the local government sole taxing authority. Okay, so the local government units may also impose tax. In what way? Of course, it must be published, of course. They can actually implement, but the law that they pass, okay, aside from it should be published. It must not be contrary to the national law. Okay, so if you know the hierarchy of the laws, it's the Constitution, and then we have the statutes passed by Congress. And lower to that is the law passed by the local sanggunian. So the local sanggunian should not make a law that is higher than what the national law provides. Okay, so always based in the Constitution, the statutes passed by Congress, and then the local sanggunian or sangguniang barangay, or the local ordinance. Now, we go to the committee who are the persons involved in the preparation of the budget. We have the treasurer, assessor, accounting, budget officer, Planning and Development Officer, comes up with the estimate and targets for both income and expenditures that go into the preparation of the draft of the local budget that is debated and approved by the local Sanggunian. So this one, we are the one who will prepare. So in the national level, this is the duty of the Department of Budget and Management. Before the Department of Budget and Management, all the agencies or institutions owned by government should prepare also their budget, and they're going to submit it to the DBM, and the DBM will submit it to Congress. So in the local level, it's the same. We have the treasurer, assessor, accountant, budget officer, planning and development officer. They're going to propose, they will propose it to the Sanggunian. Sanggunian will just have a debate. Okay, they may delete or increase or decrease the budget based upon their argument. So whoever argues well eventually will prevail and can make the budget um, be approved. Conduct semi-annual reviews of the cost and accomplishments of and in undertaking development projects. Now that's the job of the local finance committee. What about the treasurer? What's the function of the treasurer? She keeps the treasurer. And what is a treasurer? No, I'm joking. Collect taxes, fees, charges, and the other impositions of the LGU. Okay? So these are actually the sources of revenue of the local government unit. What are those? Taxes. Okay? Refers to the real property taxes, the fees, okay? Whatever permit you ask from them, you have to pay a certain fees. Okay? And then the charges, okay? On like penalty, and then the imposition of takes custody and exercise of the proper management of the funds by the LGU. Okay, so take charge of the disbursement of all LGU funds and such other funds that may be entrusted to him by law and other competent authority. Take note, there are many treasurers who are in prison for some illegal acts. In what way? The money they collected belongs to the public. They cannot use that privately, even for a single minute. They cannot get that unused and then refund later on. No. Because if there is anything that is missing within that, it's an illegal misappropriation of funds or other criminal acts or theft. Because that money belongs to the public. Even if you can refund it, getting the 10 pesos is already a theft. Okay? So assessor is just the functions of appraisal and assessment, okay, primarily for taxation purposes of all the real properties in the local government concerned. What are these? Okay? This refers to the to the taxes. Okay, they are the one who will determine how much is the price of a real property. So take note, real property always increases, it will not decrease. Okay, unlike other properties like personal property, as time passes by, decreases its value. Unlike real property, always it always increase its value. Okay, the land, the house and lot you have now, as the time you buy it, and let us say 10 years from now, it will no longer be the same. The price will be higher. More so if the um, municipality will be converted into city, and if there are projects later on that will be developed along the road of the property. If there are access road, the value will always be higher. Now, we go to accountant. What is the function of the accountant? Take charge of the accounting and internal audit of the LGU. Okay? Accounting and internal audit. Okay, what do you mean by internal? Within themselves. Okay? There is also external. We have the COA. Okay? The COA, upon noticing that there are discrepancies like the use of fund without authority from the local council, then it may be disallowed. Okay, and if it is disallowed, then you have to pay it. Okay, and who will pay? The one who signs. Any person who signs or who are signatory to the allowance or to the grant of such activity project will be held personally liable. It is not the local government who will be held liable. Okay, so it's easy to determine whether it is illegal or not. How? Look at the power given to you by the council. If you have that power, then it's allowed. Without that power granted to you by the council, then it is illegal. And it will be disallowed by the Commission on Audit. Now, in the local government here, there's also an accountant, okay, and its job is only to internal audit. Okay, she will take note, or he or she will take note of what are the discrepancies, what are those um, illegal activities, and sometimes they can just notify the person that you have to pay this one, otherwise he will be paying it within he will be held criminally liable. Okay, but within that level, there's no criminal liability yet. Okay, but as soon as you use the fund, and then there is a um, let us say you have the authority to travel to go somewhere to use the fund, you have to bring with you when you come back the receipts. Okay, so if there are discrepancy, you have to pay the the local government units. So in our case, every time we go out, we request for the fund if it will be granted. But before we request the fund, we have to itemize what are our expenses, like payment of the fare, the airplane, the taxi, because there is a corresponding form which we're going to follow. Okay, like the time of departure, and then I think right now it's 300 from Cebu to airport. Okay, when you are in Manila, I think right now it's still 500 when you use taxi. So anywhere. So the maximum is 300. It's from Cebu to airport, and then from airport the destination where you want to attend a seminar or a conference is 500 in Manila. Okay, and then right now I think it's still 800. Okay, per night. Okay, and that will be your allowance, by the way. Allowance, that is your allowance, including as well your lodging. So that's the problem now. Those who are in government will not be traveling anymore because that 800 per day is not enough. Okay, staying in Manila in a hotel, 800 is not enough for one night. Okay, so that's the policy now. So it's not really an enticing for you to travel, considering that the allowance you have is so minimal. Okay, so you have to bring with you the receipt from the taxi. Okay, so make it sure that that the taxi you're boarding has a meter, because you are going to use that meter later on, a receipt to the meter to 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 justify the money given to you, okay, for liquidation. And you can liquidate that not later than 15 days from the time of arrival. Take note, it's a criminal offense if you cannot liquidate that within that period. Okay. Okay. Sometimes uh, as a practice in Cebu, normal is different. A long time ago, when we arrived, we just give the the receipts, and then they're going to compute how much are we going to pay. But lately they changed it. We're the one now computing how much are we going to pay. Okay, but that's no longer. That's why it's burdensome when you travel. You are the one who will be computing. That's not our job. That's not our job before. Now it's our job. Now, budget officer provides the budget administration services of the LGU. We have the planning and development officer, analyzes income and expenditure patterns, formulate and recommends fiscal plans and policies for consideration of the finance committee of the LGU. Okay, so he's the one who will be planning everything. So what is the best qualification for budget officer? He must be good in economics and very bright as to the future. He must have a foresight of what will happen next. Okay. The role of the citizen in local government affairs is limited to electing local leaders and engaging them through petitions, dialogue, legal suits, or protest action to adopt or change policies and regulations. So what is the role of citizen? Only for electing. So since we elect them, then they are the one who will take care of the money. So siguro, we can enter into a dialogue like there are projects. Under the local government code, there should be no project that will be implemented without first public hearing. Okay? So there must be a public hearing, especially if they're affected prior to the implementation of such policy or project. So legal suit, they can file a case, protest actions to adapt or change the policy and regulations. Okay? However, has opened another democratic avenue for people influence local policy making. So, what is um, the local government council? What is the local government council? It is the planning body of the LGU, which assists the Sanggunian in setting the direction of the economic and social development efforts within its territorial jurisdiction. Okay? So, what composes the LDC or Local Development Council? We have the Barangay Development Council for barangay. And then for municipality, we have the Municipality Development Council. Okay? Or sometimes it is called in a city development council or province and provincial development council. So who are those? So in the barangay, we have the member of the Sanggunian, all of them, including the last one, the Sangguniang Kabataan, the also sits in the council as one of the member of the Sangguniang concern. The barangay representative of non-government organization. Okay, so he is a private citizen. And then we have representative of congressman. That is the Barangay Development Council. So in the barangay, so that you will I'm giving you now a key because in this time of pandemic, working in government is a one way of surviving. Okay, so you can be one of these representative of congressman. If you will lose perhaps in the barangay election, people will not didn't vote for you because you have a bad character or a bad reputation. Maybe you can run as a representative of congressman. You will be appointed by the congressman. Okay, or a representative of non-government organization or NGO. So you sit as a barangay development council when they decide later on what will be its development. You sit with them. Okay, now we go to the city. What composes the city or municipal council? You take now city and municipal, it's just the same. Okay, officers. Okay, so one is if it's in the city or if it's in the barangay, all barangay chairman, okay, of the LGU. And then chairman of the Committee on Appropriations of the Sanggunian, chairman of the Committee on Appropriation of the Sanggunian. Okay, if you chair the Sanggunian, because there are committee in the barangay, if you are the chairman of the Committee on Appropriation, okay, it's one of the committee in the barangay. If you are chairman of that, you sit as the municipal or city council, the congressman or his representative, and then representative of the NGO. Okay, we go to the provincial. What what is the what composes the provincial development of competent cities and municipality? Chairman of the Committee on Appropriation, okay, of the provincial Sangguniang. Okay. Something. Yeah. And then congressman or their representative and then instead of the NGO, still the same. So in every development council, there's always a representative from the congressman. Okay. So in the district, so it's good as well if you support congressmen because you may sit as well in all development council. In the barangay level, okay, have the power and responsibility to mobilize people's participation, prepare development plans, monitor and evaluate implementation of national and local programs and projects. Okay. How about in the municipality or city and provincial level? Formulate many of the medium and long-term plans and policies that guide the preparation of the annual budget that are approved by the local sanggunians and implemented by the local city executive. Tasked with formulating the medium-term and annual investment programs and with pricing social, socio-economic development programs and projects. Now, okay, it's also responsible for formulating local investment incentives to promote inflow and direction of private capital. Okay, so it's timely that we have this activity this coming Saturday because we will be dealing later on what are the plans of government. So that as well, the local development council can prepare, okay, based on the statement now of the president through its spokesperson, Harry Roque. Okay, so listen carefully and make a synopsis, and you're going to submit that on 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 the day of our final exam. They also coordinate, monitor, and evaluate the implementation of the development programs and projects. Where does the money come from? First, we have the IRA, Internal Revenue Allotment, refers to the share of the local governments in the collection of taxes imposed by the national government. Okay, so they collect taxes, they gave it to national, in return, the national will give it to them in the form of internal revenue allotment. Number two, share from the utilization of the national wealth. Equitable sharing from the proceeds derived from the utilization and development of the national wealth within their respective areas. Okay, so in what way? Okay, if there are taxes that are found that are generated through the business in the local in the area, then they will be a portion that is given to national, portion also to be given to the local. Grants and donation, financial grants and or donations from local or foreign assistance agencies. Okay, we have many foreign agency or even foreign government that will give grants. Okay, and then we have domestic loans and credit finance schemes, loans and other forms of indebtedness from government or private banks and lending institutions. Okay, so those are the external sources of fund or money from the local government. How about the internal? What are the internal source of money that is within them that may be taken by them? We have taxes, fees, and charges. And then we have the real property tax is the biggest source of locally generated revenue for most provinces and municipalities. So what are these real property taxes? Taxes of the lot, house and lot or lands Okay, so the owner of the property will pay the taxes annually. Okay, so if the payment later on will be that serves as the source of money for the local government units. And number two, income derived from investment. Okay, they can actually enter into a business or sometimes privatize and development enterprise. Okay, they can privatize assets. Actually, they have the power to raise revenue. In what way? They can actually acquire private public property, which is in a form now of a patrimonial property. A patrimonial property is equivalent to a private property. What do you mean by patrimonial property? These are public lands that we're not used anymore and maybe used for a business. So that is called patrimonial property and maybe a source of income of the local government units. Okay, and we have interlocal government. Question. Okay, I keep hearing about IRA. How is computed and distributed among LGU? How is it distributed? Okay, so it depends actually on the classification, by the way, okay, of the municipality, whether it is third class municipality or if it is a city. Okay, sometimes that's why a city will not allow municipality to be a city. Okay, there's a case before. Okay, we have heard of the Talisay City, Naga City, Bugo City. I think there are 5 cities where in fact they become a city, but later on it was lowered down, lowered down to it goes back again to being a municipality. Why? Because the League of Cities do not want them to become a city. Why? Because adding several cities would eventually take the share. Okay, so there are many now of the city who will take the share of the budget of the cities. So they do not want that. Okay, but you know the qualification. In fact, they pass a law. They pass a law increasing the minimum income. I think to 100 million. Okay, before it's only certain, I think 80 million. They qualify or 20 million. They qualify. They pass a law for them not to be qualified. So that's why it go back again to a municipality. But it was decided by the Supreme Court that they actually qualify when they apply. Because when they apply, at the time, the law that is effective is the other qualification, which is I think 20 million, which they qualify. So it was decided that they indeed qualified. So they become a city. Okay? So that's the reason why they do not want to become a city because of the IRA, the Internal Revenue Allotment. The municipality will share the budget for the cities. Okay. The second stage of sharing for barangays differ after 20 here. Okay, how to distribute the IRA? Okay, 40% of the Bureau of Internal Revenue Collection within the 3-year lag is distributed to local government following the predetermined formula. Okay, so there is a formula based on, of course, the one I said, city, municipality, and then the city or the municipalities even still divided into different classes of municipalities, class A, B, C, D, E. Okay, now, a second stage is after the sharing of the barangay differ after the 20% share of the barangay, okay, so is determined all barangays with 100 inhabitants or more is granted an amount of 80,000. So 80,000 for for the barangay having inhabitants or more. An aggregate amount will then be deducted from the total barangay allocation. The balance will then be further subdivided based on the formula 60% population and then 40% equal sharing. I'm about Lobat. Okay? So 60-40. Can local officials spend money just as they wish? No. Why? Because there should be a parameter of spending. Okay, it's always based on the budget which should be allotted. Now we go to the general fund. Okay, the fund that is available for the general purpose. Let's see. Okay, maybe I can. Okay, I only have few slides. I'm going to do this one. Okay, supply. It is composed of receipts or revenue that are not by law be by contractual agreement applicable to specific purpose. Included in here are 20% development fund, 5% calamity fund, and intelligence fund. Okay, special funds, funds created for special purpose or object and used to defray specified expenditure or classes of expenditure. One of which is a special trust fund. Okay, so take note, special trust fund is part of that. Where can you get, what was the purpose of this? It's actually for the construction of the schools. For annual tax, it's taken from the 1% of the real property tax in the municipality or barangay. So 1% of that will go to special trust fund. A trust fund consists of the private and public monies which have officially come into possession of the local government or a local government official or as trustee, agent or administrator which have been received as a guarantee for the fulfillment of some obligation. So a special trust fund is money that will be given a part as part of the real property tax. So the entire income of the real property, 1% of that will go to special trust fund. So they use that for the construction of the school buildings. So there are questions here. You answer this one and submit that. Um, I think you answer all the exercises and submit that before the final exam. Okay. So am I clear? Are you around, Alidon?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have a question, Alidon?